Welcome to Biz Alchemy, a podcast about creating a new business paradigm by women, for women. I'm your alchemical host, Jacquelyn, and I'm going to take you on an extraordinary adventure to create a business filled with ease, fun, spaciousness, and abundance. Hustle, be gone. Let's birth a new way. Welcome back to a new podcast episode, a new week. Lovely to have you here. Thanks so much for listening. In today's episode, I'm going to chat with you about imposter syndrome. Now, this has been one of those topics that has been on my possible podcast topic list for a long time, probably since I began the podcast. And it's just never felt quite right. And I don't know what came up through the week, but something came up and I thought, it's time to talk about imposter syndrome. Because over my years of working with entrepreneurs in their business, this has come up many times, this energy around imposter syndrome, around being an imposter. So I want to talk about that a little bit today and give some different perspectives on it. Firstly, I'm going to share with you a couple of definitions actually. The definition of an imposter, a person who pretends to be someone else in order to deceive others, especially for fraudulent gain. And imposter syndrome, which is now also in the Oxford Dictionary, is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. Now that's quite interesting because that's really talking about feeling an imposter after a level of success. And yet I find that many clients who describe to me what they're experiencing in business or who just say, look, I feel like an imposter, I've got imposter syndrome, they haven't necessarily been in business that long and maybe are yet to have what they would call a level of success. So I'm just going to look at it at different angles today. And even if you are someone who, imposter syndrome is just not a part of your world, it's still interesting to listen about it and to hear my perspective, and maybe that could come up with it could give you some ideas about maybe how it is showing up a little bit in your business. Because for me on my business journey, although I would have never identified myself as having imposter syndrome, there probably have been elements of feeling an imposter in the environment. And, let's face it, when you first go into the business world, you are in some ways an imposter. It's a new environment. So it is almost like you are pretending to be someone else. But isn't that the case? You think if you're a kid and went to a new school, or if you're going to a new workplace, if you're moving to a new town, in some ways you feel like an imposter because energetically you are, because you're entering a new energetic matrix, if you like, and your energy has not been a part of that matrix. And so it takes a while for you when you move into that new environment for you to sort of plug in, let's say, to that energetic matrix. And that's the same whenever we do something new. So I think for entrepreneurs moving into the business space, especially if it's the first time in business, you are going to feel like an imposter. Not that the fraudulent gain bit, forget that, but just that it's new. And because of that, and because you're uncomfortable in that, maybe there is a sense that you are deceiving others because it's like fake it till you make it in some ways, so there could be that sense of being an imposter. And because of that, it's not always that you feel an imposter in the work you do or the gifts you offer or the skills that you're sharing. Although you might think it's that, it could just be that you feel an imposter in the business world because it is a whole new world, and if you haven't been in business before or you haven't had an online business before, there's a whole lingo that goes with that. It's very, very new. Lots of new systems. It's new on so many levels. And you are learning so much at once. So it can be daunting. And then on top of all that, you are showing up as yourself with your gifts and your skills in this foreign environment, and you can feel out of your depth. And so it's very easy to label that imposter syndrome. So from a chakra perspective, the imposter syndrome is linked to the solar plexus chakra, the I am chakra. So just to give you a little recap on the solar plexus is the third chakra that sits between your belly button and the bottom of your rib cage. And as I say, it's the I am chakra. It's your power center. It has two really obvious yin and yang aspects. It's one of the chakras, for me, looking at it clairvoyantly, where the yin and the yang is really obvious. And the yin aspect of the solar plexus, or the feminine aspect, if you want to call it that, or the energy that goes inward, is the self-esteem, self-worth, self-belief, self-trust, self-love, all of those things that obviously have a part to play when it comes to imposter syndrome. So that's the yin side of the solar plexus. And the yang side, the energy that goes out, is about your power, taking action, your will. And there's a beautifully balanced solar plexus has a harmony between this yin and yang, where the more that you believe in yourself, that you honor yourself, that you are true to yourself, that you trust yourself, the more aligned your actions are, the more empowered you are. So the energy that goes out to the world from your I am space is truly aligned with who you are. It is a very powerful chakra and very important for business. And if you want to know more about it, check out episode 25, 5 common blocks in the solar plexus of your business. And I go into depth there about the importance of the solar plexus in business. And although I'm specifically looking at your business solar plexus in that podcast episode, it's very linked into your solar plexus. So because of this self-belief, self-worth side, the solar plexus is pretty filled up with stories and beliefs we have that do not support this, that do not support you believing in yourself. Now, the thing is, when you go into business, it's like you're saying, okay, I am ready to look at these stories. Because you maybe in your day-to-day life, they're not showing up so much. Perhaps they are in a relationship. Maybe they are in a work situation. But it's as though part of your choice to go into business, and I truly believe this, is that we choose the business path to support our self-development journey, because some of these old, denser energies that we hold in our energy body, which can be maybe just ignored in normal life without having a business, suddenly, as soon as you go into business, it's like in your face. And this imposter syndrome and some of these solar plexus stories around not being good enough, not being of value, oh my gosh, as soon as you step into business, this is just going to be like flashing light straight in your face. You can't avoid it anymore. Now, as I was contemplating this topic, I realized there's sort of another side to this imposter syndrome story, in that going into business actually helps reveal to you where you've been an imposter in your own life. And this is a lot of what I'm talking about with energetically attracting your clients and the new business paradigm. Because we wear so many masks, we have learned to put these masks on through our life, to behave in ways that we think are expected of us by others, by our environment, to protect ourselves, to protect our truth and our vulnerability. And when you go into business, it actually reveals to you, well, if you choose to go into business with intention and awareness and consciousness, being conscious of the journey, if you choose to go into business that way, you will be shown where you've been an imposter in your life. What masks have you put on? How have you hidden your truth? Because if you have been doing that, you will struggle to be in business. You will struggle to attract in your ideal clients because you are being inauthentic. So here's a flip side of it, where going into business shows you where have you been an imposter in your life? In what ways have you been pretending to be someone else? Because the longer you're in business, the more those masks will reveal themselves. So if it's important to you to be authentically you, to show up in your business authentically, to create an authentic business that is following your business's unique business path, then it's time to take stock of where this imposter energy might be coming in. Is it coming in because you are feeling like an imposter in the business world, in the entrepreneurial world? Is it showing up because you feel like an imposter with the skill set that you have, the gifts that you are sharing? And if that's the case, that's because you are looking into other people's lanes too often. And if that's the case, you might also like to listen to episode 8, The Curse of Comparisonitis, which is also a denser energy that shows up in the solar plexus, just like imposter syndrome. Or is it that you are feeling like an imposter in your own life, that the imposter is revealing herself, and maybe it is time to look at what is being revealed and what mask you no longer want to wear? The thing is, in this new paradigm of business, where you are showing up as yourself, leading from your heart, creating a business the way you want your business to look, you cannot be an imposter. You can only be yourself. And ultimately, that's why we are all here on the planet. To be ourselves. To shine our unique light. Not someone else's light. To shine our light. And the only imposter syndrome that exists comes from not being true to yourself. Not doing things your way. Hiding behind masks that hide your essence. And maybe at the end of the day, the ultimate I am statement is I am me. There's only one of you. Allow that light to shine to the world. Now, if you're interested in focusing on the individual chakras and some of the denser energies that they might contain in your energy body and in your business's energy body, I'm now doing live streams every week on YouTube, and each week we cover a different chakra. So this week we are covering the sacral chakra. I don't know what the specific focus will be. You'll have to show up live to find out, but it will be about the business sacral chakra, and we do a lovely active clearing and activation of your business sacral and your sacral. And then next week will be the solar plexus. So this is on at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is 8 a.m. British Summer Time. I know that that does not suit you if you're in North America, but it's recorded. So you can just go and watch it at any time. But it's wonderful to have you there live and to be able to interact. So this is going to be every Wednesday. So if you can join me, I'd love it if you could be there. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Jacquelyn Atkins. I'll put the link below to this week's live. And while you're on my channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and that way you'll be notified when I go live. I love these sessions. I just love interacting, and I love that we can go through this. We can create our own sacred space to go through and do these activations. And every week's a different chakra, and then once I've completed them all, we start again. So it's a beautiful way to continuously be doing our own work on ourselves, on our energy body, removing the debris that we accumulate through life. So I hope to see you there. Until next time, have an alchemical week in your biz. Thanks for listening to Biz Alchemy. I'm Jacquelyn Atkins. If you'd love to know more about the energy of business, join my newsletter list at jacquelynatkins.com and check out my receiving channel on Patreon at patreon.com/Jacquelyn Atkins. Until next time, enjoy creating alchemy in your biz.